And now, the Android Basics segment. This is a segment where we discuss the things that power your device from behind the scenes. And now, here's this week's episode, Android Basics. Let's now turn on to our Android Basics, and today we're talking about the subject of translation apps and whether or not these things are necessary as a standalone app in 2025. Karen, girl, do you do any translation? Let's start with you. We kind of been talking about some apps, whether they're necessary or not in 2025. I know we've talked about cash readers, and there was something else that we talked about. Now we're visiting this subject matter, a very important subject matter that you and I try to do with Arabic, and we failed, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a big failure. It was actually not our failure. The one that failed was the Pixel, because
I knew this was coming.
well, this is the truth. Actually, you can't hide it. Well, before we get into what happened, actually, I think that translation apps are very important. Translation advancements are so important, and actually there are many people who are benefiting from the advancements that are happening. Actually, right now the apps, especially if we talk about the AI bots like Gemini and GPT, they're more aware of the context, and translation relies heavily on the context because there are many words that have different meanings. So if you are able to get what surrounds this word, and when it is used, you are able to give a better translation. And this helps in reducing the errors, helps in also reducing the troubles of some people, because you will usually need to deal with someone or who is not actually using your language. You don't have any language to in common, so you may need this. Also, this is an open world right now. We sometimes deal with developers. We sometimes deal with other people, like in groups and such. So whatever advancements and improvements we get, they are translated actually to better communication between the parts of the world and less errors and less troubles. So actually, I think that we are going, like, if we compare what we have now to what we had maybe a few years ago, things are really better. Well, people were just relying usually on the Google Translate, which didn't have anything related to AI at that time. And we used to have such problems in translation. Sometimes the translation was too literal to the point that you couldn't get what's the meaning, or what the person is trying to express. So now it's just better. I can say that because I use translation, because I deal with more than one language, and I sometimes as well translate because of Jisho. So we need sometimes to send a message to the developer, or we need to read the change logs, which are always in Chinese. So usually you get something better when you're dealing with Gemini or ChatGPT. So this is really great. And I think that, yeah, we need translation apps. Most people need translation apps. And the good thing is that now you are able to translate you have live translation. You can translate just by speaking the word, and then you will get the translation. So the other party also, if you are dealing with someone face to face, this person is able to read, to hear the translation in his own language. So this is also making the communication much easier. And there's also the live translation, which is in call translation, which is happening offline, and you're going to show us a demonstration. It's available on Pixels and on Samsungs. Actually, it's different between the two, but yeah, I think that we are going we are going in a route which is interesting, and I hope to see better implementations of translation. I mean, to have good translation which happens offline, and which is actually something that you could rely on. I think we are coming to this in the foreseeable future. I hope to.
You know, something really nice you mentioned about translations, because I remember the Google Translate back, you know, with kids in school and in high school, and, you know, some kids that were just migrating here. And we use that a lot, especially, you know, when we're trying to communicate something with them. And I had no way of trying to communicating with those guys. And I remember, I'm talking of 2007, 2008 now. So this subject or matter of translation has been something that's been with us for quite a while. And just watching it mature to where it is right now, I think it's a really good thing. And Sally, you tend to like languages, most especially Cambodian, you know, Laos and all of that good stuff. Have you tried it? Oh gosh, I'm always thinking about you about this translation, Sally.
You know, that was what I was going to talk about. Like, I'm pretty much into languages since I was a kid, and I'm doing translation, like translation, some text or software and all in between. And besides that, I'm also into those languages you said, Asian languages or African languages, when you hear on the radio, just browsing through the online radio. Back in the days, I was wishing that there was something to instantly translate me what those guys are saying. Like they're talking on the radio, something about really, I don't even know what they're talking about, but it's always interesting. Like sometimes guys sitting there talking about, or they're picking phone calls and talking about it. And that was coming to me quite interesting. And I wish I would knew. And maybe I was hoping that I would call them someday in my own language or in English, talking to them, and they would be translated into their native language, and how happy they could be. I don't know. That would be great. So that was my thinking. So years ago, for translation, there were the dictionary apps. You guys talked about Google Translate, but there were also some dictionary apps for other languages where you could like write the word, and you could get the like pronunciation and the meaning of that word in that language, in particular language. I was pretty into that. I had a lot of dictionary apps, just like being the app junkie, just like you were in. So
it's good to be an app junkie, because you know what?
Exactly.
My argument is that, you know,
Like,
if one fails, you have the other. It's a backup.
like even remember, I had like an English to Mongolian dictionary.
Well, you know, becoming a Mongolian minister, you know, trying to take the place of late Austin.
That was pretty interesting. I was always trying to find out like how those people pronounce those things, those words, and languages are always really interesting. So seeing the progress and all, I'm really impressed and really happy for the future of translation. Like I heard you and Anna speaking on the call, and she's speaking in Spanish. You guys gonna hear, and he was speaking English, and that's amazing that instantly translating it. Like last year, I tried it with Karine. She's speaking Arabic, and I speak in Turkish. Samsung was doing a good job, but now what I hear is like it's even better with Excel. So I'm really hoping for something bigger and broader languages support. Of course, not just like a couple of languages, like someone from Africa, like those regional languages can talk to us in their native language, and we can understand the translation in our languages. That would be great. That could make the barrier even more disappearing and much more like accessible for everyone.
You will be able then to let your dream come true, and then
exactly. This is my
you
dream.
will go the
Honestly,
radio
that's my
station.
dream.
You will go the radio station in Cambodia.
Yeah, this is my dream.
Yeah, and also I was going to ask, do you have Galaxy Buds? Because they do. I know you have a phone that supports it.
Yeah.
You can listen. You could like actually listen to the radio station, and if you have your earbuds in, it will translate everything that it hears like around you. Because
I definitely should try that one.
Yeah, because I haven't
latest builds, right?
I haven't used it, but I've seen some people talking about using it in like certain situations, like they're in an Uber, like they're in an Uber, and the driver's like talking in some language they don't know, and they're just like sitting there eavesdropping with their Galaxy Buds in their ears.
Yeah, like a couple of days ago, I tried using the Chat GPT's translation with a Russian man, and it worked up to some level, but he was speaking too fast that sometimes GPT wasn't able to get that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that was a rapid fire.
Yeah,
and Spanish is rapid fire. So really, so when we talk about these translations, I think it's a lifesaver, because what I'm looking at is when you travel to other places and you can't speak the language and all of that. Unlike before, now you could just have your phone and just use that right there, because the Google Translate is really making it very easy. And I'm kind of beginning to wonder what the place is for the translation apps. I mean, like, I'm looking at Duolingo and some of those, but Google is really catching up with those things. And if you have something that you're not paying for, I think that more and more people will be using that, because it makes life a whole lot easier than trying to pay for some subscription and while you have something El Fribo.
You know, somebody will kill me for saying this, but Duolingo is losing, because the way they are trained to teach the language is, it's like, I don't think it's no more in the way that we need, because they're like giving you really expensive plans to master the language, and these days it's not really easy, and like most people don't want to afford it, or they simply go with AI.
And since you guys have mentioned something about the little conversation that Anna and I had, let's transition to showing how that works in real time with the Pixel Translate, or the voice translate that comes with Pixel 10. And the way it works is that the call is initiated from the Pixel device, and whoever you're calling, they don't have to have a Pixel device. But as long as the call is coming from a Pixel device, the translation would...
Or if the Pixel device is receiving the call, you can still turn it on from Call Assist in the phone's controls, right?
Yeah, so when you start the call, you turn it on in the Call Assist, and it would have, you choose the from language. So let's say, you're speaking in English, and from English to, and you choose the to language. And as you guys have indicated, we only have a few languages that are supported. We don't have a lot of languages. I think probably just a handful of languages that are supported right now. I think it's just like German, French, Italian, Spanish, Japanese. I think Swedish is one of those. And is there another one? Karen, you remember if there's another language to support it?
Maybe Portuguese.
Yeah, there we go. There's Portuguese, and I think that's just about it, isn't it? So Karen and I try to do it in Arabic, and it wasn't there. And so the funniest thing is that we tried the messages. It says it supports messages, for example, and then I sent Karen a message, and she sent me a message back in Arabic. And you know what? It just... Karen, can you tell us that story? It just didn't work too well, did it? It's a little bit shorter than what you had. I mean, it tried to read it for me in Arabic, like the Google TTS was trying to read it and all of that, but it didn't read the complete message. It didn't translate it into English. So what I wound up doing is that I pulled it into Gemini, and I said, translate the following. And I was able to read the message that Karen sent me. But back to what Anna and I were doing, I called Anna, and we had a little conversation, and she and I were speaking, and I spoke to her in English, and she responded in Espanol. And here's that sample of what Anna and I did, and which we thought is really good. I think this is the way I'm going to be learning how to cheat on my Espanol. Here's that conversation between Anna and I. Hello, Anna.
Hola, Anna. Hello, Warren.
Hello, how are you, Anna?
Estoy muy bien. ¿Y usted, Warren? I'm doing very well, and you said it. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm trying to be a good kid, and I thought I'd reach out to you because, it's been a while since I talked with you, and I'm just wondering where that pretty girl's hiding at.
Ay, 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 ay. Bueno, oh. Well, I'm at work. I'm eating for a block, so behave my way. Well.
So you're at work. Are you at lunch now? Because I know it's lunch hour.
Exacto. ¿Saben lo que me... Exactly. Do you know what I'm paying attention with this characteristic? It's that my voice seems like the translation of mine seems to sound like my voice, and the translation of you seems to sound like the voice of you. It's something very interesting. What?
I know. It's really neat to hear me speaking Espanol, and I think I'm going to use this to cheat.
Y también otra cosa que es interesante. And also another thing that is interesting is that I listen to the first words in English, and then I hear a tone, and then I hear the translation in his voice. And when I'm talking, I hear far away from the voice of mine. So it's obvious that we're talking through a translator electronically, but it's very interesting and it works really well, it seems to me. What do you think?
It really sounds good to me because, it's obvious that we're doing voice translation here, and I think that it might even be better if I wasn't talking on the speaker, because I know that as I'm talking, I'm also hearing my Espanol translation coming back at me.
No, sí, pero I don't know if yes, but it's something very interesting and it's working. Let's see, what topic can we develop? Let's see if the translation is clear yet. But don't complicate my life too much by taking Trump out or anything like that.
No, it would be a sin for me to complicate the life of a pretty girl.
The planned vacations are not going to come out, you and your family, or took a vacation this year?
So I wasn't going to go to vacation this year, but I was thinking about it because it's kind of a little bit expensive. And then my family is going to Europe next summer. And so I'm kind of, gosh, this is going to be so expensive. But I'm thinking whether or not maybe I should travel. But, with the Pixel season, I am kind of, stressed out. I mean, not stressed out, but I'm kind of, stretched out financially, so I wouldn't be able to travel. I put my money onto the Google Pixel phone.
Una cosa u otra, eh? One thing or another, huh?
Yeah. So one thing after the other.
Una cosa tras otra.
Well, good, Anna.
Here it's very hot already.
Oh, it is hot here too. All right. This will conclude our little testing of the Google translation or voice translation during a call, and there's no better person than me talking with the pretty girl.
Y lo que and what very kind. What I observe is that the translation is not perfect, but when one needs to speak with someone who does not speak the same language, then this is very serious. It is a new and very welcome feature.
Indeed, it is. I think I'm satisfied. I mean, at least the other person gets the gist of what I'm trying to, communicate, and whether, the syntax or the grammar or whatever is not correct, at least they understand what I'm trying to talk about.
Exacto.
I really like how I sound in Espanol.
Pues mi voz es un poco. My voice is a bit dramatic. I don't know. I think I didn't know what I was talking about like that.
Well, and it's lunchtime. You're kind of busy also. I didn't mean to kind of, take your lunchtime, but I'm so thankful.
Claro, con todo gusto y saludos. Sure, with great pleasure and greetings to all the people who join us on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Ana.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, yes.
Okay, bye. Well, that's that conversation between Anna and I. Guys, what are your thoughts, comments about this? I think we have a nice start, don't we? Because what I really like is that you guys were talking about how it compares to what Samsung does. It actually was using my voice as to using a TTS engine.
I was impressed by it. So when during Google's keynote, they had Jimmy Fallon demonstrate this with somebody. I think they were also doing Spanish, but I was impressed with how the voices sounded just like the people, or close enough to the people. And at first I was like, they have to be faking this, but then what's happened recently with Apple promising things, I was like, Google would not fake this. So this actually is happening. And the crazy thing is that it's happening on device. It's not, none of it's being sent to the cloud, and it's happening so quickly. I mean, in the past, when we've wanted to make a TTS voice, for example, on a Samsung phone or on an Apple device to sound like us, we had to provide so many voice samples, like sometimes like 50 or more. But this is just like, it just picks it up immediately almost.
Sally, any thoughts about this? I know you're the language guy and you like all that Mongolian stuff.
I'm really impressed, and like hoping to see even more better versions on more languages coming up in the future. This is going to be great, really, and I cannot wait to try it for you with English and Turkish. I want to know how you sound in Turkish.
Yeah, because on Samsung devices, they have this feature also on certain Samsung devices, but it doesn't mimic the voice. It just gives you the Samsung TTS for whatever that language is.
Yeah, it doesn't mimic the voice, and the processing is a little bit slower comparing to what Pixel has right now. So when you say your words, you need to wait for the response a little bit, and then you need to talk again.
The Samsung one waits for you to say what you want to say, and then it translates. So here in this demo, it started translating. Like when you started, when Anna or Warren started talking, it started directly trying to translate. So this is a big difference. It's trying to be like the live translation that happens in conferences, and so it's something really good. It saves time, but the problem, I think, is with people who could understand the other language. So with Samsung, you're able to hear the person who is talking, and then you will hear the translation. So if you want to try to check if the translation was right, this would be easier. However, with Pixels, I think this would be slightly harder because of that. Although as a feature or as a principle, I think that this is better because it saves time, and it's like really like when the person is talking, it's just trying to translate. So I like this. But Warren, your voice, like it wasn't able to mimic your voice well, I think. That wasn't, for me, it wasn't similar to your own voice. However, with Anna, it was able really to mimic the voice in a way that was really good. So I think that was something like, it was amazing. It was really impressive. I didn't expect that. Well, I hope that Anna did some comments related to the translation, because she knows both English and Spanish, so she could just tell us if the translation was good. But I think, yeah, you were able to understand each other, and that's something good. But I mean, with Samsung, there are serious troubles with the translation. We tried it like last year, so maybe things have improved. But at that time, there were serious issues. It wasn't able really to perform well. I think Pixel 1 is doing a better job. However, I hope that Anna did some comments regarding the quality of the translation.
Yeah, and then Karen, you and I try to do the Arabic translation, in messages. My thinking was that I was going to have like a translate next to the text, or it should be translated automatically for me into English. And that's how I understood it to be. However, that was not the case. And when I went to read your message, though, it actually came up reading it in an Arabic TTS, and it wasn't even complete. So I was a little bit disappointed when it comes to the messaging translation.
Yeah, because of that, we were talking about the failure, because we tried like several times to let it work. We weren't able to, actually, you weren't able to find anything related to the translation chip or anything like that. Also, you tried long pressing the message, but no translation. Also, you tried going to more options. You tried restarting the device, just saying that, okay, this would fix the problem, but this didn't fix it. So either there's a problem, or it's the chip that is shown is not accessible. So it could be one of two things. So I don't know actually, but it's easier, just so much easier to go to a translation app and paste the text here. This is what you did after giving up the
failure.
After giving up Google's implementation. So and Gemini did a good translation, although the translation was an online one, but it was good.
Yeah, because in that area where you add the languages, you see a few other languages outside of the ones that we mentioned, the French and the German and all that stuff. You have languages like Albanian and other languages in there. And by the way, I think Hindi is one of the languages that are supported in the real live translation as well. So, we have some Indian language in there as well. So I'm really kind of happy with what we have. But my thought was that the messages, at least the ones that do not get the voice translation, would automatically also have that messages translated. But it failed when Karen and I tried it. Unless, of course, I was doing something wrong. I'll have to play with it again, but I don't know what I did wrong.
Could it possibly, I mean, I haven't tried it, but could it possibly be a talkback issue? Like, what if it's showing up as English, but talkback is not seeing it as English? Could that possibly be what's going on?
Yeah, well, it could be. I couldn't tell because it was just a little sliver of text there that I could see. But when you touched that area, then it comes up, reading in Arabic TTS.
Yeah, we'll have to investigate more. See if it was user error.
No, John.
Yeah.
John, the Arabic TTS is able to read the English letters, so this shouldn't be a problem.
But Warren was saying his Like I'm saying, what if like the actual text that's shown on the screen, it shows it in both languages, but the text that TalkBack is seeing is only the original language. You know what I mean?
No, the thing is, he was using the Google TTS. So actually, the text is passed to Google TTS. And if you have like a sentence, for example, including Arabic and English, if Google TTS decides to read the message through the Arabic TTS, it would read the English, but in the Arabic accent. However, if it decides that it is going to use the English TTS, then the Arabic text wouldn't be read. Do you get the point?
I think so.
Station list.
So here's the message between Karen and I.
You said, hello, Karen. This is a test. Let's send it out Thursday, 12:37 p.m.
And then
Karine, Lebanon said.
أريد أن أخبرك أن لبنان بلد جميل.
Thursday, 12:41.
yeah, so that
So
was
now
not
do
even
it.
complete.
So do an image description on that. So put that in focus, and then
It is in
do an
focus,
image
so let-
description
let
and
me-
have it read the text using Gemini.
Image description. The image is a dark gray background with white Arabic text. The text says, which translates to, hello, my friend. I want to tell you that Lebanon is a beautiful country. Thank you, in horizontal pager.
Oh yeah, so see, it does, but that shouldn't be, because it
So it
should
is
have just
actually showing up in Arabic and not. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe you
it's
did have it
showing
set
in
wrong or
English.
something.
No, I didn't. I restarted the phone, thinking maybe it's my fault, and I mean I went through everything,
Do you have to
possibly
set the
could.
language for each person? I've never used it.
No, you download the language pack, and I
Okay.
did download the Arabic language pack, and all of that, but still it did not happen. But yeah, that's what
And
happened.
forward the message to John, because he now has his Pixel, so he can try it.
I should forward it to John. John, you want me to forward it to you? I'll forward it to you, and you see what happens.
We'll figure it out later. We'll report back.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, but I think it's not showing up in English at all. But my expectation was that there should be a translate button next to it, even if it doesn't display it in English or renders it in English. There should be a translate, because the idea is that it should be able to just show me that text in my language, right? So I'm texting with someone. You got that news quiz somewhere else that doesn't speak your language. Sally, I'm looking at you. And then you could just have this magic happening. So
Yeah,
it failed.
I get the sense something wasn't working right. But the more important question is, how many Koreans do you know from different countries? Like, why do you have Korean Lebanon in your contacts? As if you have Koreans from all different countries in your
You
contacts.
never can tell. With a man, you never can tell. Sometimes some of these things are kept as a secret. Just kidding. But my whole thing is, when you travel and you make friends, or even online friends that you make, a lot of people that we communicate with actually are using translations and all of that. But if you happen to be corresponding or communicating with them directly, we should be able to have this as a flawless process.
One thing I want to mention regarding the translation, or the differences between Samsung and Google's implementation, which is something that I like, and I hope that Google also will implement. On Samsung phones, you are able to use other apps. Like, you are not only required to use the phone app, so you are in a regular call, so you can just use WhatsApp. And when we tried it last year, we did it with WhatsApp. So it's much better to be able to use it with third-party applications, because if you are talking with someone who is not living in your own country and who is using another language, it's usually much better to use VoIP applications, not to use traditional phone calls because of the costs. So I hope that Google is would do it like Samsung, and would implement this feature, or would support the feature with third party, at least the popular apps like WhatsApp.
That's a very good point. Should be able to do that. That will make it even better.